Folks, welcome to your week. This is so bad it's good. This is the pop culture roundup, and we have a returning guest. I don't even know when the last time I've talked to her. Like I always say, time really means nothing anymore. It just kind of just week after week just happens, and I don't know. It could be a month ago, it could be 6 months ago. I'm not sure, but I'm so happy she's back today. You know her from her Instagram account, IG Famous by Dana. She is just fabulous about breaking down what people go through in terms of beauty, in terms of all of. I mean, by the way, and you probably can't see her right now, but she had an allergic reaction. This wasn't like a lip injection. She actually had an allergic reaction. She's in Knoxville, Tennessee right now. But anyways, let's get into it with pop culture and what she's up to. The one, the only, Dana Omari. Dana, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Ryan. I love being here.
You do like no, listen, you are one of my go-to. If anybody like I'm always like, but I'm so disorganized. I'll always like text you like 2 or 3 days before. I'll be like, hey, you busy this weekend? And you're
Okay.
usually busy because you have a life.
Yeah, but I'm here in Knoxville with my swollen lip ready to go.
So you warned me about this swollen lip, and I thought, oh, was this a lip injection gone bad? But you say it's an allergic reaction.
Yeah, no, I would totally tell you if it were injections, but also if these were injections, I would be very upset because it's very crooked.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that you've always been so honest with everything that you've done to yourself. You've taken us through all of your procedures. Your account also points out procedures. I was just on your account and you were talking about Doja Cat, her BBL, that she
Yeah.
kind of admitted to having a BBL. And I think we are on this quest for, I mean, I guess always looking our best in some way. And I think celebrity pop culture has steered us in certain directions. And I always find your account so helpful because I don't notice these things with my stupid man eye. I'm just like, oh, that person looks fresh. But you notice all of these things. Where did your obsession come in beauty and procedures and stuff like that? When did it start for you?
Because I work in the industry. So when I started posting about all this stuff, it was because there are things that I couldn't say to like patients and clients when they would say, "Oh, Jennifer Aniston has perfect skin with no wrinkles because she does Pilates and does like a honey yogurt mask every Friday." I'm like, no, that's not, she might do that, but that's not why she's 50 with no lines.
Yeah, like we actually I think that's it, is that the celebrities put out a narrative, or we're to believe that it's this magical thing that they're gifted by God or whoever they
Yeah.
pray to, that they are just gifted, and in a sense they work hard, they pay top dollar for these procedures. And you see it in the beauty industry today, and we see it with housewives. What a cottage industry this is a billion dollar industry, right?
Right. And so when we like now with social media and everything, we're seeing ourselves more and more frequently. There was a study that said like during like the panini, the pandemic, because everyone was on Zoom and they're looking at themselves more frequently. They're like, oh my God, should I lift? What's happening here? Looking at my lip right now, I'm like, oh, I need to block my
Yeah,
picture
by
because
the
I
way,
don't.
this has got to be a nightmare for you. This is truly a nightmare. One of your celebrity enemies has done this to you, by the way.
Oh, evil eye. Obviously, I have some, people who probably don't like me. Honestly, you should probably take a screen grab of this and post it everywhere. Be
Yeah,
like, "Mhm."
no. Well, Dana, but when I see these things though, I'm like, I don't even question it. Like, I'm like, well, the lip will go down. Or like when I see these things, or this will go down, that will go down. And I think even as I get older as a dude, and like being online as much as I am, I even notice it now on a daily basis. And it does, like, you'll rarely see, like, I have to, even after 4 years, I'm still so uncomfortable with putting my own image out. Like, I'm uncomfortable, like, even being called an influencer or something. And when you see me post something with my face, just know I have thought about it for hours. I've hated it. I've hated it ever since it went up. Like, I've never gotten comfortable with it. And I think that's the thing, is that I want just somebody to tell me, like, just tell me what to do. I'll do it. Like, I'll do whatever. You want me to get some kind of eye surgery? I'll do it. But I am so uncomfortable with the way I look. And I can't imagine how much 10, 20, like a billion fold that is for women these days.
Right. So I think a follower pointed this out. I was like, it's so true. Housewives, like their freshman season versus their second or third
Yeah.
year, the change is like, oh, they were on TV, they watched themselves and they go, oh, Like, who should I go to? You know what I
Well,
mean?
go back and look at Kyle Richards on the first season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you guys. And I remember watching the first season right when it aired, and I thought Kyle Richards was the most beautiful woman. I thought, and what's so interesting is to look at her now, still obviously a beautiful woman, but a completely different beautiful woman. It's almost like a cyborg. It's like a Terminator, and she's never been off Beverly Hills. So it's like we've kind of gotten used to it instead of all of a sudden she pops up and we're like, what happened?
Right. But then also when you see her old pictures and videos, you're like, wait, no,
Yeah.
no way. She looked like
Yes,
that? No.
exactly.
Fake.
Because we usually don't go back and look at those things, but when you do, it is shocking because you're like, wow, as we get older, I guess our noses look better.
Right. Obviously. I mean, she
Yeah.
just like breaks her nose every like 3 to 6 years. Fine.
Well, it is interesting because then and it seems like it starts younger and younger too, right? Like that's what we're dealing with. And I have a niece, and she's not even allowed on Instagram now, even though she pokes around on YouTube and stuff. But I always got scared because of the Kardashians and the way that they presented themselves, not only with filters, but all of the surgeries that they always say they didn't get. But what's so interesting about the Kardashians? I'm still watching the Kardashians on Hulu, and this is the first season where I feel nothing. Like I just feel I feel zero when I watch it. I feel dead. But Kylie has this conversation with Kendall in this week's episode where she starts crying because people are so mean because she took a photo overseas with very little makeup and very natural, and people were making fun of her, and she was very hurt. And I'm empathetic, but at the same time, I feel like, well, you ushered in a lot of these beauty standards, so it's really hard to fully feel for you because I feel more for all of the people that you've affected throughout the decade.
Absolutely. And with them, because of all their editing and filters and everything like that, it's more of like that shock of, oh, she doesn't actually look like that. And I'm not saying that there aren't awful, rude people who say horrible things unsolicited, but it's kind of like if you've pretended this is what you've always looked like and it's natural and whatever, and then we see that that's not what you actually look like, that gap in weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of, again, like looking at Kyle Richards' oldest videos, and now it's like, wait, whoa, this is a huge difference. And so I agree. I agree with you.
Well, but it is interesting though, because like I said, I remember that first season of Beverly Hills. I thought Kyle Richards was gorgeous. I mean, and for that time, she was gorgeous. But now we have these kind of unifying beauty standards where I've noticed, and I think you've noticed, is that everybody is getting the same procedure where they're all starting to look the same. Like, I'm like, oh my God, is that a lost member of the Kardashians? Oh, that's just an actor.
Right. I literally just posted on my stories today where someone called Lady Gaga like Stephanie something Germanata Kardashian because she looks like a Kardashian in this picture.
Yeah, you just had
like,
that on your stories, Lady Gaga from This Week in Los Angeles. And I saw that, and she definitely just looked yassified, but it was actually her out in public.
I thought it was Kim at first. Like, I was like, are they making fun of Kim? Like, does Kim kind of look like Lady Gaga on this picture? And I was like, oh my God, it actually is Lady Gaga. That's weird.
And is that because they really are getting all the same procedures, and the same procedures are to make the nose look a certain way, to make the cheekbones look a certain way? Is that why we're getting that similar look across the board?
Right. So it's not necessarily that they're doing the same procedures, because I can have a nose job, you can have a nose job, and our nose look very different. It's that they're having the same procedures to look a very certain way. So like they're having the same procedures with a end result in mind. So yeah, like the heart-shaped face, like cheekbones that look a certain way, a very small, teeny tiny nose, rounder, fuller lips, eyes that are kind of lifted. And people are looking more and more the same because we're getting the same features. And I always say with my like patients, clients, friends, whatever, is you don't want that, because first of all, that's what makes you look very fake. But getting just your features, but slightly enhanced, like, okay, I want my nose just a little bit smaller. I just want a little bit less skin on my eyes. That is how you're going to look like you just had a really good night's rest and you just glow without looking like Stephanie Germanata Kardashian.
What's the newest procedure? What's the hot new procedure? Is there a hot new procedure for the summer?
Is it still Ozempic?
Well, I mean, is it? I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm hearing still like they're actually, the Ozempic discussion is still fascinating, where they said it's going to become more common and more common. They're still like, they might do it in pill form. They might do it. Like, I've heard all of these rumors.
Yeah, it is.
It is in pill form.
There's a new one coming out. I think it's like slotted to be approved in 2025. So Ozempic is semaglutide. It works on one receptor. Tirzepatide or Mounjaro works on two. There's one called retatrutide. I've been talking about it for over a year now on my page. It's slated to come out next year, and it works on three receptors. It's supposed to be even more beastly with even fewer side effects.
So, I mean, like Gayle King, Oprah's best friend, came out in the news a couple weeks ago and was like, Oprah is shitting out of every orifice, or Oprah is in the hospital shitting out of everything. And a lot of people was like, because she's on Ozempic, because that, and I'm like, how intense, like how many receptors, like how, like, I mean, come on. It just seems like it is intensely painful. And there are these side effects. Now, you were very open and honest in, I think, prepping for your wedding. You had been on Ozempic or Mounjaro or one of them,
Right.
but you got off of it, correct? And you were in a
Yeah.
maintenance phase.
I've been off of it. I went on it again over the holidays because I knew that I wasn't going to be working out and I was going to eat whatever. So I went on it like around November and ended in January, and I've been off since. You do have to actively maintain, like you have to work out, eat better, etc. But yeah, I didn't have any side effects. Some people do, some people don't. But your side effects are worse, like the throwing up and the diarrhea and whatever, is if you actively do what you're not supposed to. So, for example, drinking alcohol can make people very sick. But I've seen people who are like, no, I really want to have a cocktail. And then they're throwing up for hours. I'm like, you're not supposed to drink on it because it makes you
She's
sick.
like, this is working doubly good. I'm throwing up
Right?
and I'm pooping. Like, well, I mean, you said November to January. Can it work that quickly where it's even worth it to do in a small amount of time?
Well, I was on a very low dose, like the very lowest amount. It just kind of took the edge off of my appetite. It's not enough to lose weight. I didn't lose, but I knew that I wasn't going to maintain my weight because I already knew I was going to exercise over the holidays. Jesus doesn't
um,
want us to work out on Christmas. Let's be real.
I I agree. I mean, I fully think like well, it's like that and reality television, I think should actually genuinely take a break over the summer. Like I wish Bravo would just shut down for 3 months. And in some ways it has, because Vanderpump Rules and Summer House is now off the air. And I was talking to you before we started and you were talking about, you're not been watching reality television much lately since the end of Vanderpump Rules and how you felt about that. So my question is, how did you feel about the end of Vanderpump Rules this season? And I guess this season in general.
So the thing about reality, and I understand it's not 100% perfect, that it's not scripted. I get that. I'm not stupid. But the fact that I felt like they were trying to make us believe or feel a certain way, it just took it away from me. Like from the very beginning, where they're like, oh, by the end of it, you're going to hate Ariana and Katie. And we kept waiting for that moment where we're like, oh my God, is Ariana really going to like suck? Is this going to go to her head and she's just going to be an awful person and we're going to hate her? And every episode I was like, no, she's so valid, or she's really, she's doing the best she can. And she's still giving us, showing her life, and she's showing up, and she's around Tom when she says she doesn't want to be. She just doesn't want to have a fake apology with him. Then at the very end, I was like, when was I supposed to hate Ariana? And you keep trying to give Tom a redemption arc. And I understand they really want him to stay on the show, but he has to give his own redemption arc and we have to accept it. You can't force it down our throats. And so I just felt like it was very overproduced and I just didn't like it. And I feel that way about Beverly Hills. I feel like Kyle has a lot in that. I feel like they get to dictate what we see and how we feel about it. And so they have all these crazy things happening in their life, right? And then we're over here like mad about Pantygate and like, is she with her weirdo girlfriend or not? No, they're just friends. Like,
yeah. Well, we worry about Sutton's esophagus rather than the real meat of their lives.
Because they now get to produce that. And I miss the days of, oh shit, this came out and now we get to see all of it, which is kind of what made like Scandival so crazy, was like all of this is happening and now we see the repercussions. But then this past season, it was so overproduced. And I don't want you to tell me how to feel. I want to just feel it.
Dana, I agree, but I also think what's interesting about your point is that audiences are so sophisticated now that even if they try to push it a certain way, we do read between the lines. We are sophisticated enough to go, well, I see what's happening here, and it's ridiculous. Right. And therefore, it's almost like Well, it's still working. It's still bringing people in. We're still talking about it. We're still clicking. We're still all of the things that they want us to do. But the anger has moved towards production and storylines rather than these people's real lives, which is what reality shows are supposed to do. But you're right. The
Exactly.
Ariana thing and like Andy coming out and going, Lala is the voice of reason this season. And I was like, and by the way, like you said, I was waiting for that to happen. Every recap, I was like, okay, Ariana must get revealed as a serial killer in this final episode because at this point I don't see how it's going to go any other way. And then the season happened and I was like, Lala it felt like she made a damn fool of herself in some ways.
I agree. Like, I thought what was going to happen was that they were going to have like a blowout fight, and Ariana would be like, "I made you. I'm the reason you're successful. Kiss my ass." And she was like, "Oh my God, I love you guys so much. And like, I'm like, I just don't want to talk to Tom." And I was like, "That's it? She doesn't want Tom to have his like fake cry apology. That's it? That's our issue? Or, like, are you kidding me?" In fact, her walking, when she said me walking out, I gave them the best ending to the season. I was like, yeah, you did. And I haven't been to Applebee's in like 10 years, and I kind of want to go and see like, is it still as shitty as I remember? They do have like $1 like Apple teenies or something. I don't know.
Well, it was interesting. I mean, I don't know. The whole thing was interesting, and it was disappointing in some ways, but then in some ways I thought it was great because the fan base kind of really did see certain things that were going on. And what's interesting, did you watch the season of The Valley?
Yes.
Well, I mean, they're about to pick up cameras in July for the second season, which I wish they were already picking up cameras because it seems like insanity is happening already. But it's the same thing. What's going to be so curious is that Jeremiah, the producer over at Vanderpump Rules, has been moved over to the Valley because Vanderpump Rules is on a pause. And a lot of people are scared that he's there to give Jax like a good edit. Now, I don't necessarily like at the end of the day, I always try to tell the audience is like, we're passionate. We're like football fans. Like we are in the shit. But sometimes these people putting on the show, it's their job, you guys. It's their day job.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to sit there and live this 24 hours. They want to get home as quickly as possible, raise their families, all of this stuff. So it is interesting. Like we're almost like this fly in the ointment of like, God, you just let me tell my stupid story of this redemption arc. Like, I mean, I don't think that they genuinely love Tom Sandoval, but I do think there's allegiances from the very beginning of this show. Just like Kyle Richards, they say, at this point, Kyle's been on there for so many seasons that she has made friends with all of the producers. They're like family to her. So there is a conflict of interest because, of course, if we think about our normal lives, I don't want to hurt any of my friends that I've made out there. And so I'm going to potentially hold back, or like really think hard before I throw somebody under the bus. So it is interesting that happens across the board. I just don't think it's sometimes as deceptive as the audience wants to believe.
Right. No, I'm okay with people getting a good edit. I understand because at the end of the day, they have to curate the footage and they have to create a narrative regardless. Getting a good edit is whatever. But like with Beverly Hills, like they have all this stuff going on in their lives and it's never brought up and they allow them. Like I'd be like, no, come to work, show up. This is happening. Talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, you're off. Goodbye. Like no one cares about your Pantygate or whatever. Like, and I know it was like some years ago, but I just think about how and what Lucy, Juicy, Goosey, whatever.
Lucy Apple Juice.
Talk about that for like 17 episodes when there's literal divorces, cheating, craziness.
Yes. Well, and by the way, I mean, all the memes that were made out of Lucy Apple Juice, it's like, guys, we're making fun of how bad that is. Not like we love it and do more things like Lucy Apple Juice.
Right.
So it is interesting, but I do think like they fall into that trap a lot because it's easier to do all of this other bullshit. It's harder. Like I always think about the delicate balance that a producer must go through to have to kiss the ass of every cast member to be like, no, you should reveal that. I think that person did you wrong. I support you revealing that. Like you have to like really encourage these people to be real. And that's why it's so silly for people like Sandoval or Lala to be like, we risk it all, dude. We put our lives out there, dude. And it's like, Tom, you didn't put your life out there. You tried to hide it. You got busted. You got caught. That wasn't you putting it out there. So that narrative of sharing it all when you didn't share it all at anything, like it's like, you don't prove your own point. And what's ridiculous about Tom is that he just came back, you guys, this weekend from the Traitors season 3 that was over in Scotland. He's over, pictures of Schwartz and Sandy's with Kyle Chan and Victoria, his girlfriend. And I'm like, this guy can't help but fail upwards. Like, I would have rather Sheena on The Traitors than Tom Sandoval. Will you watch The Traitors season 3?
Probably, but not because of Tom, just because it's a great show.
It is a great show. And I will say, I do understand casting Tom because he just makes a mess of everything and he puts his foot in his mouth. And at this point, we're all kind of in on the joke. So I'll be watching to see how many dumb things this man says because he does not seem to learn from anything.
No, I agree. Like the very end, like that episode where he was like, "Oh, this is great for me." I'm like, "Oh my God, you learned nothing, literally nothing."
Well, that's why I said the edit wasn't completely this, glorified edit because they left in that final scene of him like on, a hot mic saying it's good for me.
Right.
And he's laughing like the Joker.
I agree, and which is perfect. That I'm so glad that they did. But I feel like they also were like, we have nothing. Like we have been trying to make something happen and we don't have anything happening. And then Lala right now, she's on like, it feels like a world press tour of, but I have a kid. I have a kid to take care of. And like,
well, Dana, did you hear this about Lala? Is she's pregnant? Did you hear that?
Yeah. And like obviously Ariana like ruined Vanderpump Rules and now she can't feed her kids or whatever. And I'm like, actually, you know what? You guys ruined it because if you had your own storyline and you guys let it like develop naturally instead of trying to create this, even if Ariana left, which I 100% believe I believe Vanderpump is probably ending, but if it weren't to end, I think Ariana would have left anyway. You guys could have continued on and Tom could have still been a part of it because like then the Ariana problem is fixed, right? But instead, you made it about Ariana. You made the entire show about her. So now when she leaves, what is there?
Well, it's gaslighting an entire audience that is primarily based of females. And like, we're supposed to probably encourage females. If this happens, you shouldn't want to like forgive your ex immediately. You've got to let those things happen naturally once this person has like learned their lesson or asked for true forgiveness once they realize what they've done and the pain they've caused. So isn't that a strong example for women out there, what Ariana did? And I will say you're right. And I'm going to make a blasphemous comparison, but you're right. Vanderpump Rules could have continued. And by the way, I still believe will continue. But if Ariana doesn't, participate in season 12, we'll be aware of what kind of show we're watching now more than ever before, in that it's basically fake popcorn entertainment, just like Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Is that Kendrick Lamar has made it painfully obvious that at the end of the day, Drake is a pop star. Drake is a pop star. Drake doesn't live the life of a rapper. Like he wants to be respected as a rapper. Now, Kendrick, he came from these streets. He came from this. This is in his DNA. It is very real. And Kendrick, with this Kendrick Drake rap battle, he makes it very obvious and clear is that you can love Drake, but just know he is not like me. He is not like us. And that to me is like Vanderpump Rules. And I know that's a blasphemous comparison, but Ariana makes us look at the reality and they will not be able to potentially continue in the same way with just fake bullshit,
No, I agree. And then it also goes back to Lisa. For a long time, I felt like she's obviously favored, the Toms, like, the men. But this season, it was made painfully obvious how much she just prefers the men to the point where she supports them no matter what. And I feel like had a hand in trying to do the redemption arc. And, she's talking to Lala and be like, oh, I want him to be included. And
everything changed. Everything, because Lala and Sheena was against Tom until that conversation with Lisa this season. Yeah. Like, I'm worried about it. Do you want his death on your hands? And then they switched entirely.
Do you know how manipulative that is? Like, I'm sorry, if he commits suicide, it's your fault.
And that's their boss in a lot of ways. Lisa is the reason why all of them are there. So of course you're going to take that seriously. But what's so funny how quick it all happened. Like you saw Sheena get in her head where then they went to Tahoe and she was like so conflicted. And you could tell that was really real and very much Sheena's experience. But I will say that came from the top. Like that came from Lisa.
No, I agree. But Sheena pissed me all the way off because she's over here like, oh my, like he remembered my birthday and he like lent me money one time. And I'm like, he also like tried to have you like completely arrested for hitting or not hitting or whatever the fuck happened, whatever. Like he blocked you and your baby and was like, I hope you go to prison for hitting my mistress, whatever.
Yeah,
I
whatever
was
we want
like,
to
oh,
call.
but he remembered your birthday. Mm.
Well, that's the thing. Like Tom will always be that person that shows up to your shows. But like Ariana, they're like, yeah, but
Where's
like also
Ariana?
Ariana's a different person. Like I'm saying,
But
like what I
Ariana
also love,
shows up. I'm sorry. Do you know how many times we've had to hear "Good as Gold" in like 17 different versions? And Ariana's always there. Ariana's singing it like
but
out there,
also
like, ooh.
what I loved about Ariana was admitting certain things that I related to, where it's like, yo, I'm not the person that's like, like calling or texting. Sometimes I get like in my own head. Sometimes I have mental health issues. And sometimes like Tom is wired differently. We're all wired differently as people. And it was
Right,
just so interesting that like, well, it's good if you do all of these things that Tom's mind or obliviousness allows him to do. But Ariana, since she's not as vocal or out in front like Tom is, then that's a bad thing. That's a bad
right.
friend. And it's like, we're all just different.
Right. No, and then what like throughout the season, like every single time she gave so much like grace to Lala and Sheena, even when I think she felt like she's being pressured, like she kept having the conversations with them, like, I don't want to talk to Tom. I love you guys and I will show up to the beach party and
Yeah,
I
I'll
know
be
you might
around
be
him.
there. I'll be around him, but like I'm not gonna talk to him. And they kept trying to make it happen. And she still was so gracious, even in her like confessionals. She's like, I love them. I'm here to support them, whatever. And they're over here like, Ariana thinks she's Beyonce. Like if we don't get to like, who gets to say who doesn't film? And I'm like, Lala, you did that. You
But
did
by the
that.
way, yeah, I always thought it was so silly. All of the any reality show relationships are silly because the down like they talk such mad shit about each other every reality show, and then they still find a way to come back as friends, and that is so unrealistic in so many ways. But I always appreciated that fact. But with Lala especially, Lala always had it out for Ariana. If you watch previous seasons, like there was the one season, but Ariana always like stood up for Lala, and of course there was that incident in the car where they hooked up in front of Tom. But then after that, it just seemed like Lala had a viciousness towards Ariana that I feel like you have to take into account when she speaks about Ariana now. So in that way, it's not the reliable narrator or the voice of reason that Andy proclaimed she was, because there is so much water under that bridge that has
Right.
never fully passed for Lala. It feels like she does hold this grudge. And by the way, at this point too, Vanderpump Rules, you could literally have them reading an Applebee's menu and I would find it entertaining. It doesn't take much anymore. Like, like they don't need to like do like these villain edits and hero edits. Like just show them, like they had a Secrets Revealed episode that I thought was one of the best episodes of the season because it was just them in like weird situations being doofy. And I was like, I would kind of watch them do anything at this point. Just don't manufacture.
I agree. Okay, but why do you think that Lala has always had it out for Ariana? Like, what do you think is like the seed?
My opinion is that Ariana presents, not even presents. I think Ariana is on the right side of a lot of things, whether it be issues about trans rights, whether it
Mhm.
be issues about like she's always like saying something that actually kind of makes you think is like, not like genius level, but she is like out of a like, wow, I didn't think about
Thoughtful.
that or that. Yeah, very thoughtful about other people's feelings and how they choose to live their life. And I think sometimes, and you saw this with Stassi as well, they're like, what is this bitch reminding me that I'm actually doing something wrong? Oh, you think you're better than me? And then it seems like that to me is a lot of these women's Achilles heel, where they're like,
Yeah.
or even Schwartz this season, like, you're not the queen of everything. Well, no, she's not the queen of everything, but she has been hurt by this person that she was with for 9 years. So you've got to allow a little bit of behavior, especially when you participated because your apartment was the place Tom went and whacked off on FaceTime with Rachel every week. So I always thought it was interesting is that Ariana just seemed to be on the right side of things. And I feel like that annoyed a lot of people because I'm not on the right side of things. Like, I'm like, damn, I didn't even think about that. But to me, that
Right.
doesn't threaten me. I kind of like that Ariana is. And I'm like, oh, well, that's
It
it.
makes you better. It makes you think and you change.
Yeah, well, I'm not threatened by trying to think differently?
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, Lala almost called. So I like Lala. Okay. But I
Yeah,
almost called her
I do
Lauren.
too.
But
That's just,
right. Everyone's been being like, okay, Lauren from Utah with your black sense, like try. Like, do you not see how problematic you are? But she doesn't
well,
see
I
it.
mean, listen, I mean, that's the thing is that especially for somebody that has, in some ways grown up through reality TV and where she started to where she is now, huge leaps and bounds. And like she, she has such a powerful voice. Like, and
Yeah,
she is like, she's quick with a turn of the phrase. She's quick.
it is.
Like, don't get stuck in the muck and mire of this bullshit when it's like such an easy serve to just come out down on the men. Like, come down on us, man. Like, we did these things. Randall did this stuff. That's very real. That's real.
Right.
What Ariana is doing. And like, it's not a comparison because it's like, it's like snowflakes. Every man's abuse is completely unique. It's like very
Right.
different and it's very personal. But Lala cannot compare Randall with Tom and how we treated Ariana as opposed to how we treated Lala. There's just
I
no comparison.
agree. I agree. Like, first of all, like, don't even pretend like you love that troll of a man. Like, you called him PJ for so long because why were you actually with him? And like, no, like, just everything.
You can't rewrite history. You can't rewrite history.
And
even
you
if
didn't show him for a long time. We didn't get to see the courtship. He just suddenly was on, and he was grotesque.
she flat out lied about it. She flat out lied about it for years.
Yes, yeah. And then like, you guys get into one fight, and he's like, "Give me your Gucci slides." Like, there's nothing likable about Randall. And I'm sorry, that wasn't a love like relationship. It wasn't. I don't care. I don't care. I will die on that hill. And so the fact that you think that's the same thing. Like, yes, you both got cheated on. That's it. That's where there's nothing else that you can compare. That's it.
And then from then on, girl power, man. Like, it is interesting.
And
Like,
profited off of Scandival too. Like, that's the other thing. She's like, oh, she's making so much money. Baby, so did you.
well,
Like,
she
if
says,
was
like,
happy-
listen, this is years of work. This is years of work. I'm like, yes, it's years of work, but it's also an inciting incident like Scandival that exploded things. So your years of work and being ready, everything hit at the same like opportunity meets preparation.
Right.
Like all of that plays into those moments, and then she rode that wave. And I just feel like keep riding that wave. And like, listen, at the end of the day, it is, I guess, interesting in some way because we're talking about it, right? And it'll be interesting to see how she picks up and moves on. Like, I mean, like I was looking at her, she has a Ninja blender influencer campaign on her Instagram right now. And I was like, wow, I would be worried.
Does?
Yeah, Lala does. Yeah. And I would be worried immediately that, my first reaction was like, oh, should I write, is this because you're so thirsty? And then I was like, no, because I'm a grown up. I'm like, I'm a grown man. That's ridiculous. I've moved on from childish things like that. But then I went to it. Everybody was writing that. And I'm like, damn, like I try not to write mean things on Instagram.
And you're like, oh my God, am I basic? Like, am I a basic?
Well, I am a basic bitch completely. But it is interesting. Like people are out there. And I do wonder, maybe you can speak to this more because you have such a huge following. An influencer marketing, say if like Ninja Blender has that deal with Lala and, it seems like it's, a lot of people are interacting, but it's negative interaction. Like, I'll never buy this product or how dare you? Now, a company, would they be like, oh, that's still interaction. That's still great. Or would they be dismayed about the reaction?
So if they're well versed in marketing, they would love it. If they're not, they were like, oh my God, this is so bad. But no, like all publicity is good publicity. The Kardashians are queens of this, kings of it. But first of all, like I haven't thought about Ninja. I feel like that is a brand that was like so popular. I feel like in like 2012 or something, like everyone had to have a Ninja blender, juicer, whatever it is. And like, it's kind of, not to say it's not popular. You probably go to the store and whatever, but like for it to come back up in pop culture and everyone's talking about it again, very few people actually hate Lala to the point where they're like, I would never buy a Ninja. I'm throwing it away. Like, oh, like people say
that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, this is still interaction. This is still.
It is. Yeah. And now I'm thinking about Ninja. I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, you're right. Like I was thinking about it too. I was like, should I get fruit water? And so it is funny how that really does end up working. But I always say, and especially as this podcast has grown over the years, I find it hard to, like, if I wanted to get even like really exponential growth, even more than I usually have, all I need to do is either fight with somebody in the public eye that will fight with me, like a fellow podcaster or something like that.
Right.
That's one way that will get people immediately to the episode. Or I say something so outlandish and so offensive, that like I say like, oh, Taylor Swift, she was born with both male and female parts. I know that. I know that for a fact. If I said something so outrageous like that, that's the kind of stuff that gets picked up and you get people angry and then they come, they interact, but I just don't want to do that. I
Yeah,
don't have
no,
the
'cause
constitution for that.
you have morals, you have ethics. No, I kind of was going off on this surgeon. He's actually a great plastic surgeon, but I absolutely hate his social media presence. He has millions of followers, and he says things that I know he doesn't believe. And the thing is he waits until he sees whatever is like kind of popular or trending. So there was like that Turkish surgeon who completely has fake before and afters, and it became a whole
Oh
thing. And
yeah.
I was like, this is not the same guy, y'all. And then a Turkish journalist like actually tracked down the after guy, and the after guy was like, no, like that's not my before. Wait, my pictures are circulating. I'm suing. That guy messaged me, emailed me, commented on my post, all of that. And then here comes this surgeon who a week or two later posts about it and goes, look what I found. I'm like, no, you didn't. We've been talking about this for 2 weeks. The journalist found him. Like, please stop. But anyway, to get back to like the things that he does, like inflammatory things, I posted about Taylor Swift and saying like she has great work, whatever. I'm sorry, her work is very obvious. If you look at her pictures, like from her early 20s to now her early 30s, different features, completely different face, but looks like her. He posted, I think Taylor's all natural. And I know he doesn't think Taylor's all natural, but he knows the Swiftie fan base and that they're going to latch onto that because the way that that got sent to me, like this plastic surgeon says she's natural, therefore she is, and you're not a plastic surgeon and he knows better than you. And I'm like, he knows she's not natural. He just knew you guys would rush to support this, send it everywhere, and just drive his numbers through the roof. And I hate that. I'd
Well,
rather not have followers.
it is interesting. And by the way, because I watched this 2-part docuseries on Max, it's Discovery ID, but it's on Max called Bad Blood. And it breaks down the war between Scooter Braun and Taylor Swift. And it is interesting because they show pictures of her, a very young girl when she started. And speaking of Kyle Richards, I was like, whoa, she did look very different. Now, you guys, I'm not saying this offensively because I have no issue with anybody getting plastic surgery or any kind of enhancements past. I mean, like then it gets like out of hand for some people. But to me, Taylor Swift, looks still very, whatever work she's done, you can tell there's work, but it's very natural. It looks like an extension of her rather than like, oh, what did you do? Like,
I think she went from a very average, pretty, like, oh, she's pretty to beautiful, like star. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, but I also wonder, well, it is interesting though, because it is such, what's the word?
Yeah,
Not delicate. It is, no, it's such good, subtle work that also you would almost then want to think, well, that's just her coming into more womanhood. Like
right.
that's like her, like, wow, like what? Because that's true too, because you're like, oh, wow, she's at the top of the world. She literally, I mean, I spent all weekend looking at clips from those London shows where every celebrity known to man were there singing and dancing, including like the future king. And I'm sitting there looking at I'm like, wow, what a beautiful, I saw her live in Amsterdam last month. I said, well, how beautiful, but it is interesting. I don't think you can argue if you look at how she started to how she is now. And I know that is, somebody growing up as well. But I just don't find it I don't find it offensive to say somebody's got an enhancement. I just don't. I feel like, man, if you can, and if you can go to the right people, like did we talk about last time, like how good Brad Pitt's facelift was? Was that an amazing, if you looked at him from like a year ago to like 6 months ago, the face work, the guy looks so refreshed.
He goes back to like old Brad Pitt, like the way like Brad Pitt is in our mind's eye when we think of him. But a year or so ago, we're like, he looks old and tired. Like, what happened?
But what a risk though, to entrust yourself to the right doctor, to make the right enhancement, to make the right. And Taylor, like to her credit, is also doing work where she does not look like a Kardashian to me. She does not look like a Kardashian.
She just, her features just enhanced a little, tweaked her own features. So they're already pretty and made, improvements on those. Not, I want that nose, I want those lips. It doesn't work that way. It's not like you can just go shopping for features. And that's when it looks weird and fake.
Well, Dana, so how is it though, when you have somebody of like a Brad Pitt stature or a Taylor Swift, is it like, do you shop? Do they do presentations of like, Taylor, this is what we could do. this surgery could literally enhance this by 2%. Like, how at that point, if you are worth billions of dollars, do you entrust yourself to the right person? Like, is the underground like market, the word out that Taylor wants to do some light work, and then people are putting in bids like they do with like building skyscrapers? Like, how does it work?
No, I mean, you just have people who know like personal assistants and people like your managers who are like, oh, so and so went here or there. So a really great example. Um, oh my God, I just forgot her name. She was on Selling Sunset, Christine Quinn.
Oh yeah.
Christine Quinn. So she's very open about her work, and she was asking me like, oh, she wants to get a bleph. She wanted eye surgery. She might kill me for saying this.
I think we assume that Christine might have had some work done.
No, not that part. She found her surgeon because Lisa Renna recommended the surgeon. It was Dr. Catherine Chang, who is amazing, phenomenal, who also allegedly did Margot Robbie's upper bleph. So Lisa Renna recommended it to Christine Quinn.
Okay, I guess I'm going to be the jerk that like kind of steps in here and says something. Would I really ever take a recommendation on Lisa Rinna's work, seeing that there seems to have been some mishaps along the way, or am I out of pocket for
Besides
this?
her lips, I think Lisa Rinna is a beautiful woman, and I like I like a
So it's
lot
just
of
the
her work.
lips. He didn't do the lips.
No. She did eye surgery, eyelid, which is what I
Okay.
did, a bleph. Yes.
Maybe
So
I'm
a
just
lot
so
of it,
focused on the lips that I don't see the
they're
other
very
stuff.
distracting. Yes. Yeah, but like they get recommendations from their friends and family. So when I tell you that like they tell us I'm all natural, but they talk amongst each other, they are so open with each other. Like, oh yeah, like go here, do that, like ask for this, tell them I sent you. Everything from Ozempic to surgery, they're so open with each other. And then with us, they're like, natural. What are you talking about? These lips came from God and my mother.
Is there, is there an example, and not Lisa Rinna, but is there an example of like, do good surgeons even have bad days? Like, is there a celebrity or like a reality star where it's like, damn, they went to the right person, but they must have slipped. Something must have happened mid surgery because it did not turn out the way that they probably projected.
I'm sure that they have bad days, but I also think that sometimes it's the end result that they like the patient wasn't expecting that result, or like our anatomy is very similar, from one another, but I might have a little bit stronger of this muscle. And when they're cutting into that, they didn't realize like how much it would have to take to actually lift it to that, position or whatever it is. So like there are like little abnormalities in between like our anatomies that can make a little bit of a difference. But also we're human. All of us are human. So like the idea that this surgeon thinks this looks a little bit better and maybe that's their taste. And that person didn't factor that in. So they're like, I'm going to this surgeon because they're so well known and they're famous, without taking into account, like, I actually don't like a lot of this stuff. Like the way they do noses is not to my taste. You know what I mean? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, no, it does make sense. I think it's always like when you go, I mean, I always think about like hairdressers that you've been going to for years because they know your hair. They
Yeah.
know where, okay, you're thinning here, this is what we can do here, the cowlick is over here. And I always think about that in the same as surgeons is a lot of people do not have the money or the time to like have very personal relationships with plastic surgeons that actually know your body and your face. And I feel like that's the risk because they are, like you said, everybody is different. So that would be my fear, is that they're trying to do a pattern job that they do over and
Right.
over again on somebody, and each person's face, I would imagine, is different.
Right. But that's why you need to talk to the surgeon and say, this is what I want. So when I did my bleph, the first surgeon I talked to about it years ago, he wanted to do it really severe. And my eyes turned down a little bit, which is a very like Arab feature. And he was like, oh, and let's do like a canthoplasty. So we'll tilt your eyes a little bit up more, so which would give like that Bella Hadid, like slanted look. And I was like, no, I want my eyes to still look Arab, and I still want some hooding because that looks like me. And he just didn't get it. Like he was like, no, we're gonna basically like make your eyes more like Eurocentric. And then the surgeon I ended up going to, Dr. Rose, like I was like, I still want to keep my eyes looking Arab. And he was like, no, you would look very weird with like very severe like crease. And I was like, thank you. Thank
So
you. That's what I wanted.
so you have to be really careful, and you have to know what you want, and you have to stand up for what you want, because you
Yes.
could be talked into completely the wrong procedure. Moving back to Taylor Swift, like I said, she's at the Eras tour. She's doing 8 nights over at Wembley, I believe. And there's a lot of funny things about this. First off, are you a Swiftie? Are you a Taylor Swift fan?
I like Taylor Swift, but I'm not a Swiftie.
I love that people are like, I'm like, if you like Taylor Swift, why can't you just be called a Swiftie? I like that there's almost a negative like connotation to Swiftie now of like, I like her, but I'm not a Swiftie. It's like, well, there's not a test to take. Like you can just,
I don't know. Like I feel like if I said that, they'd be like, "You're not a Swiftie. Name all the songs in order. Name in
well,
order."
no, well, listen,
Swedish lyrics for the Taylor's version.
I consider myself a Swiftie, but I don't know. Like, I mean, well, at this point, I might know the set list. But what was so fascinating for so many reasons was that we had Prince Charles and 2 of his kids, Prince William and 2 of his kids at the show. And there's a couple things that's fascinating. They have a shot of Prince William dancing like he's fucking Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's like, shake it off. And he's so, by the way, hysterical. Better dancer than I am, but I'm like, this guy's a fan. This guy is a Swiftie. His 2 kids are not dancing near as much as the Prince is. And I thought it's hysterical, but I also thought, man, what good PR for the royal family to have this man out, because it's such an ordeal when the royalty is out in public, and to see him humanized in this way, dancing like a goofball. And then on top of that, you guys, you probably saw that Taylor Swift went Instagram official with Travis Kelce this weekend by posting a picture of her, Travis Kelce, the Prince, and his 2 kids all in a photo together. And that was the first time Travis Kelce has appeared on her Instagram grid. And another thing for like Prince William, congratulations. Like, I mean, I've never heard such positive things about the Prince in a decade plus.
At least. Yeah. No. Then there was also like Jude Law, I think, tweeted like, "Thank you for like."
No, Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant.
Oh, Hugh Grant. Sorry, Hugh
Yeah.
Grant. He's like, your gigantic boyfriend hashtag tequila shots, and I was like, wait, hold on. I want to see a video of this. What happened? Why is this not news?
Well, everybody was there. Tom Cruise was there with Christopher McQuarrie, who directed, he's directing the new Mission Impossible and the last one. He was there with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is in this tent with all of the celebrities. Tom Cruise is in front of gargantuan Travis Kelce. And I've been watching videos of them because Travis Kelce is like getting down with his friends. And then Tom Cruise will turn around and be like, ha 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 ha, all right. And Travis Kelce, you can tell like, holy shit, man, that's Tom fucking Cruise. Everybody's in there. The Hemsworth kid was in there. You had Greta Gerwig, the director of Barbie, in there. You had the lead of Bridgerton was in there. Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye. It was a who's who in this tent. But the Tom Cruise one took me out because there's also a video of him exchanging friendship bracelets with some Taylor Swift fans. And he's just all smiles as he always is. And then all people were like, well, is he going to try to get Taylor into Scientology? I'm like, I don't, at this point, Tom Cruise lives more in London than he lives in America. So I think it's very natural. But also, I do predict that Travis Kelce will wind up in Top Gun 3 because Travis Kelce has recently been in the press saying that he really wants to be an actor.
Really? I have not been paying attention to that. Is he good? Like, do we think he would be a good actor?
Well, listen, he's actually already in a project with Ryan Murphy, and Ryan Murphy made Kim Kardashian an actor. So he's starting off in the right place. But it is weird because when you're getting so many opportunities, Travis Kelce is obviously a multi-Super Bowl winner. But then when the Taylor Swift stuff, like sometimes you're like, all the opportunities, maybe like chill on taking the opportunities. But I will say what Travis Kelce appears to be is just a fun, loving, funny dude that doesn't
character, right? He's a main character.
Well, I mean, what scares me is one of the first times I talked to you, we were talking about Adam Levine, Adam Levine, of like, I pray to God, Travis, if you're listening, do not do any DMs with girls. Do not imagine it would be,
that would be our Super Bowl.
Talk about a fall. If this Travis does something like, I will, let's hope if this relationship goes all the way, that's great. But let's hope it's just a natural breakup if they ever break up and not because of some cheating scandal, because this guy, it would be like a death warrant.
No, I absolutely agree. And actually think about that pressure. If he was like, I'm not feeling this relationship anymore, what could he do? What would he do? Oh my God. I
Well,
would be like, okay. And
Dana,
you're
he
like,
would
talk
come to
to
you for
lawyers.
recommendations for facial surgery that he'd look completely different. He'd have to leave the country. He'd have to actually get Arab features just to completely change his look. And he would be hiding out for a decade plus because it's so ingrained in the Swiftie army. And we're like, we all want a love story, right? Like, that's it. We want a love story or we want something to be mad at. We want a cheating
Right.
scandal. It's either one of the two. There's no gray anymore. Even Joe Alwyn, Taylor Swift's ex, we still don't really know what happened, but we were
Right.
angry at him, even though we didn't know specifics. And he recently did an interview finally coming out about how weird it is to have this breakup and have everybody weigh in on it when, it's a very personal thing. And
Right.
like, it took him a year plus afterwards to like almost feel like he start working again, where he's an actor. He's like, he's in a
Right.
new movie. But I feel like with Travis, I wonder if there's any internal pressure or he's an oblivious kind of guy of like, rock and roll, man. I'm seeing the world. I'm dancing behind Tom Cruise. How does it get better than this?
I feel like he's like an oblivious, like he's just like in a happy honeymoon type phase with her and all the press. I mean, obviously he was very, very, very famous before Taylor Swift, but like this is a whole new like level of fame and scrutiny. But I think he's like a happy go lucky, like, yeah, this is great. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Love it. Everything's
And
wonderful, you know?
And as a woman for Taylor Swift, you think about the previous relationships she's been in, and she doesn't seem like she particularly has a specific type because they all seem like different. By the way, talk about Taylor Swift eras. There always seems to be different eras with guys, and I think a lot of women, like it's kind of nice. You're like, oh yeah, there are so many different types of people to like there out in the world. I
Right.
just do wonder if this is the one, but it is scary to think about what potentially could happen if it goes wrong. And that's the
Right.
scary part.
So again, I really like Taylor Swift, but one of my issues with her, like one thing I would like to see from her is because she does talk about her relationships, was I love, like I hate the whole like, oh, she's always talking about her exes or her boyfriends. I'm like, yeah, we want to hear about her life and that's what she knows and that's what she writes about. You write what you know. But it not to say that she's always a victim, but I feel like in every single story or song about her breakups or her relationships, she always is more focused on what they did wrong or where they messed up. And I'm sure that there are times where the guy, like, it was completely like he really fucked up, but there's no way every single relationship, it's always them and never her. And I feel like maybe some growth points would be for her to be like, well, it was breaking down because of this, this, and this, and that led to this, this, and this. And maybe, and again, I don't want them to break up, but if her and Travis Kelce break up, maybe we can get more of that nuance of like, it's really hard to be like two superstars and like whatever it is, whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, we're already writing the lyrics of these breakup
Right.
songs. AI is already out there writing these lyrics because it's a different ball game when you have two superstars coming from two different pop culture focus points. And I
Right.
think, listen, this is what Kim Kardashian wishes she could do. And, at the end of the day, Kim Kardashian doesn't have that underlying. By the way, another comparison to Drake and Kendrick. To me, like Taylor's Kendrick and Kim is Drake. At the end of the day, you can't escape what you actually are. And it doesn't
Right.
mean that they're not important. Drake obviously is one of the most important music figures out there. But if you're trying to be like, I'm a hardcore thug rapper, you are not that. You are
Right.
not that.
Ugh,
And
I
there's an
can't
important
Drake.
history. What's that?
I said I cannot stand Drake.
Well,
I don't
but,
know. Just everything about him is just like,
no.
he just gives me the ick in so many different ways.
Well, that's the thing about Kendrick. I'm so fascinated because a lot of people now are waking up to that fact where all of a sudden Drake is giving people the ick. Like Kendrick did that pop out concert in LA at the Forum this week. And people were like, man, this is the king of petty. This was like a funeral for Drake. He did Not Like Us, the song about Drake, 5 times in a row. Dr. Dre came out and said, I see dead people. And it was really this kind of amazing barbecue feeling of just people roasting Drake. And I don't know if you're Drake, how you like, by the way, it's so funny. Like fandoms are so funny because then online people are like, Oh, this is all Drake's master plan. Yeah, this is Drake's master plan. Oh, Kendrick's fallen into that trap. What master plan? For you to be laughed at as a potential pedophile? That's part of your master plan, Drake? Just admit you
Potential,
lost.
potential.
No. Like, but no, I'm not saying, but I'm like, that's the lyric in the song, and
Right.
everybody's like roasting you for that. And I don't, I want to be clear. I don't think Drake is a pedophile. I think he does like young girls, like Leonardo DiCaprio does. But I think like,
But the whole like, I'm waiting for you to be 18. I think that's very pedophilic.
well, it's a gross thought. It's a gross thought, you know.
Yes.
But which by the way, how do you have to like? Do you have a hard out in 5 minutes?
Okay,
cool. Are you having fun? This is
yes.
good. Okay, good. I always like to check in. I'm like, I'm having a great time. I like the Kim Kardashian stuff. I bring that up too because at the Wembley shows this weekend, Taylor does these secret songs every set, and she did "Thank You, Amy," which is off the second half of Tortured Poets department, and it's about she capitalizes KIM, which is about Kim, and she interspersed
Very
that
subtle,
with the song.
obviously.
Yeah, she interspersed that with the song "Mean." So, and she literally said before the song, she's like, "This is for like all the people that talk shit," and that is Kim K. And we watched that Bad Blood, that Scooter Braun, Taylor Swift docuseries, which is, by the way, just a rehashing. There's not a lot new that I learned from it. The first hour, you guys, tails it from Taylor Swift's point of view. The second hour is from Scooter Braun's point of view. And it's all about how Ithaca Holdings went into a deal with Big Machine Records, which was Taylor Swift's, music company. And they bought, the rights, the masters to her first 6 albums. And Taylor presented it in the media as, they have stolen my work. I was not given the opportunity to buy this work. Scooter Braun paid $300 million with this company, Ithaca Holdings. And, literally Taylor kind of then, that gave her inspiration to re-record the Taylor's versions, which I thought was brilliant at the end of the day. What a great business move, but it really inspired her. But she said, listen, as a woman in this industry, I am literally like, and especially, Scott Borchetta, the head of the her music label, who sold to Scooter Braun, said, I had so many conversations with Scott Borchetta. For him to sell to Scooter Braun, of all people, after the conversations I've had with him, was a complete letdown and a slight, and very sad. You watched the first part, the Taylor, and you said you watched the second half, like the first half with the Scooter thing. Was there anything new that you learned from this docuseries?
Not really. So, okay, I'm 100% on Taylor Swift's side in terms of that. Like, I think Scooter Braun is a bully. I think that, like, just he also gives me the ick. But the part where she was like, Scott Borchetta, like that, oh, why would he ever sell to my nemesis? I am like, actually, it's not really. If you're offering me $300 million to buy this off of me, especially when she had already like defected from their label anyway, she had moved on to a new label. I'm like, I got offered a lot of money, and I'm not trying to hurt you. It's business, and I'm selling. Scooter, on the other hand, he was doing it to fuck her, right? Like, he's like, whatever, I don't like you. I want to make money off of you, and I don't want you to ever like have control of your music, right? Like, I believe that. I believe he's a bully. So for her to like be like, oh, I can't believe Scott would do this to me. I'm like, at the end of the day, it was a business decision, and I think it's the right business decision for him. I don't believe that he didn't give her an opportunity to buy her music. I know he said, if you want to sign on for more, I'll just give you the rights to your music. But I feel like if she said, I would give you however many $100 million, I'm sure he'd have been like, sure. But I don't think she did. That's the part I'm like, I don't think you actually tried.
You're right. That was in the second hour, the Scooter Braun hour, it says, and I know this is a little inside baseball, folks, but it's, the big contention was that she was not given the opportunity. She learned that this was happening on social media. And when it hit the press, that's the part that even in the second hour they talk about, is that she was aware beforehand this was happening. She was aware, and she was given the opportunity to buy. Now, I don't know if $300 million was too rich for them. They don't go. That's where it's frustrating, where they don't go into the specifics. And I still would love a quote from Scott Borchetta of like, I get that it's $300 million and you want to get out of this business and you are now a rich, wealthy man. But why Scooter Braun? Like, if you have a personal relationship with a young Taylor Swift, I know there is not like a lot of ethics in business, but there seems to be that seems to be a big one where I even knew that Scooter Braun, through his associations with Kanye West, Justin Bieber, Taylor put it as like, these people now have my musical legacy, my
Right.
hit, future in their hands. And I as an artist, she's in a very rare position where people actually give a shit about her history.
Right.
Most artists never get heard in their lifetime. So that was the part I was confused why Scott Borchetta did sell to Scooter Braun. But at the end of the day, it's corporations against corporations. So it's
Yeah.
just money.
So I mean, it even said she went to him and was like, I want to control my masters. And he said, okay, like if you sign on for more albums, I'll just give it to you. So, first of all, right there, that was given an opportunity. I agree. I wouldn't do more albums just to have control of the masters. She probably could have offered money. It seems like she didn't. But she'd already moved on to a different label. She left that label. So I understand when you're saying, okay, she like if he had such a relationship with her, like why would he do that to her? And I'm like, she left his label. We don't even know if they left under like parted under like maybe negative circumstances or like not the best
Yeah.
relationship when they parted. And then at the end of the day, like I don't think he was like, I'm going to sell to Scooter. I think it was like, this is the offer that came in and I'm going to take it. And so and I already feel like that alone tells me when he said, oh, if you sign on for more albums, I'll give you your masters. That tells me he gave her opportunities to get her masters. I don't think that she was willing to pay maybe what he was asking for, but Scooter was because he's a dick.
And Scooter Braun in the second, like tries to say, well, when it gets to like weaponizing a fan base, that's where I kind of take umbrage and it's very
Oh
hurtful
my
and dangerous,
God.
which I agree. But I'm like, bro, you've had every artist, you've had Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Kanye West of all people. You never like stepped in when they were weaponizing their fan base. And case in point, they
No,
actually
you
show an
in fact
Instagram post.
instigated it. You like it makes it even crazier that you're like the puppeteer behind these musicians, these artists who then also weaponize and mobilize their fan base. Like
Yeah.
when
I mean,
everyone
that's
was
like,
snakes on Taylor Swift's like Instagram, that was your orchestration. So I'm sorry that you don't like your own medicine.
well, you don't have a lot of room to talk when you, at a certain very critical point, managed Kanye West.
Right.
Like when you actually, and by the way, I also want to get away from the fact of like, there's a lot of gray area in everything in our own lives and pop culture. Is that yes, Scooter Braun has done many good things. He has had many good causes. Like they give a rundown of everything good that he's participated in, and yes, man, great. But you can also make critical bad business moves out of pettiness.
Right.
And it is interesting. Like, right now, Kendrick is being celebrated for being king of petty against Drake. And right now, it's really working for him because I believe there's a real argument to be made against Drake. But who knows how that's going to, like, if that's going to have legs, if that's going to hold up in terms of how we look at that a year or 2 years later. But Scooter Braun, just to let you guys know, last month or a couple weeks ago, he announced his retirement. He announced his retirement from managing, which is this is a long time in the works because Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, that like got done like a year ago. But guys, he's saying he's doing this because it's a critical point in his kids' lives to spend more time with him. But guys, he is still the president or like the owner of Hybe Music, which he sold to. He's still like close to a billionaire. The guy is still working behind the scenes. He's just not doing personal management anymore. So I
Right.
like it's like this farewell to this industry. And it's like, no, you're not going anywhere. Like if you look into
No, you're
Hive,
just the
like
CEO of it.
yes, like it controls, but it is interesting because it brings also private equity, like the selling of Ithaca Holdings for like this substantial amount to like Hybe, all of these like behind the scenes players. And it is funny because Taylor Swift and artists like that are coming from this artistic point of view of like, I'm trying to get my music out there. I'm trying to get this. And they're just selling them like they're just little blips on a stock market. Like they're just little fluctuations and little, at the end of the day, we care about this stuff. But at the end of the day, a lot of these people just care about money.
The
That's
bottom
it.
line. Yeah.
Well, that's what
I
everything.
agree.
Bravo cares about money. Like we all care about money,
It
even
feels
you
like
and me
Bravo doesn't
listening.
actually care about money because they keep making stupid decisions. Like who is over? Like the Vanderpump Rules thing. Like who looked at that and was like, this is how we're gonna frame it.
But Dana, highest rated season of ever, 4.5 million viewers across all platforms, number one show on Bravo. So it still worked.
No, I agree, but I also feel like a lot of us. I even posted. I was like, I think I'm done with VPR. Like I don't think I'm gonna watch the next season. Like Like,
Dana, you
I
are.
don't
Are you
no, but
kidding me?
I really felt this, like, I'm now apathetic, like, I don't want you to steer me into, like, whatever. I want to just watch it unfold, not I don't know. I just got this like bad taste in my mouth after. And I posted that and I polled my followers, and so many people were like, yeah, I'm kind of done. Like, I don't like this anymore. Like, it wasn't fun to watch them. Like it was like they were baiting Ariana like over and over. They kept trying to set up a situation where she turns into a huge bitch and she just didn't. And it was just like, oh my God, can we move on? Can we do something else? Like, we're over this.
Um, I do agree on a lot of that. I just think that when time passes, like I got to the end of the season, what was that, like 3 or 4 weeks ago? And I was exhausted. Like, I do these like gargantuan recaps. I didn't understand like you did. I was screaming and yelling into a microphone, and just like I was doing the season before. But I will say at this point, I'm kind of like, I wonder what they're gonna do next. Like I'm starting to get curious again, or I'm starting to like, or I'll see a clip from like season 1 or season 2 of Vanderpump, and I'll laugh, and I'll kind of like, or I'll think about the ridiculousness.
Nostalgia.
Well, kind of, and I'm like, it provided so much. So I do hope they figure out a way to make this real and to really try to give the audience what it wants. I hope they try to not just get the audience angry. I want to see a
Right.
different way. But
It's I think
Ariana
it's
just,
too poster. It's like earlier in our conversation, we're like, we don't want to just say stuff that we know is going to go viral just because we're a shit posting. Basically, we don't want
yeah.
a season that's basically a shit post. We don't want that.
Well, yeah. By the way, if I wanted to get really people riled up, I'd be like, Lala was right the entire season, you guys. You don't know. Lala was right. Ariana is a fucking whack job, and she is a complete nut, and she hides it. She's hid it all 9 years with Tom. Like, that's how I could get people
She
angry.
planned
And
all of this to get the
yeah.
Duracell commercial. She is
Yeah.
evil.
No. Well, Ariana, though, I will say, I am watching Love Island
Me
USA
too.
and I'm watching Love Island UK. I'm Love Islanded out.
Oh no, I
But
love Love Island.
I do too. I mean, so you're watching Love Island USA?
Yes, yes, yeah,
She's
and also
doing she
yeah. She's an incredible host because all the other
yeah.
hosts, like, they're like cool. They're always a beautiful woman or whatever, but she's like so involved and she's like so into it that it makes it a more enjoyable experience. They did perfect casting for her. Like,
Yeah, I
whoever
mean,
thought like let's bring her on, like, kudos.
well,
Or
Dana,
kudos.
but the thing with her though is that she's a huge fan. Like I remember having conversations with her because not only did she watch UK, but she would watch Australia. She
I
would like,
watch
I
all of them.
remember like even before, like when her and Tom were still together, she was a huge fan. So this I know is a dream job for her. And they had Sarah Hyland from Modern Family, the host last season.
Right,
And Ariana did come and do like, I think like a special day or something like that of
right.
hosting. And I think this is like the perfect opportunity. But like, uh, we were talking last night, and I said, if this actually succeeds, and by the way, it's the #1 show on Peacock. It's a daily show, you guys, so it's a time commitment. If this really succeeds, there's a real reality. And if you're Ariana, do you come back to Vanderpump Rules, and do you come
No.
back just to prove something, or do you? She seems to steer away from needing to prove herself. But like, if this shit takes off, like you have now shown that you can do Broadway, you show that you can host. You're the #1 reality star. Like
Dancing with
it's
the
a
Stars, you're a
it's a
multi-hyphenate.
really oh, I forgot about Dancing with the Stars. But it's like this really nice platform in which that you could go so many different directions if you're represented by the right people.
Right, no, I agree. So it would be, I mean, obviously she's not like Andy Cohen's level, but she could have
No,
like a little talk show of some sort, right? We know she can host. We know she's quick with it. We know she's empathetic and kind and people like her. She's beautiful. She could have some sort of thing like that where she's hosting and she also does Love Island. She could be a talk show host type situation. That would be wonderful. It's like
Dana,
what
which is
Lala
which is
wants in a podcast.
well, which is crazy for Ariana being such a lazy fat ass. You know what I'm saying?
Really. I mean, listen, the fact like her ass is fat and it's super hot.
Oh
Just
my
like
god! You know what's so funny? Like that's the guys, Love Island. If you're not watching it, watch it. But it is so funny because they give her those really sexy slow mo walks with the beautiful outfits and stuff, and she's really like she's learning this new skill because Ariana, I always said, never led with her sexiness, even though she's a very beautiful woman.
right.
She never like led with that, but you see her leading with that, and it's really kind of this other exciting pivot in a
I
sense.
agree, especially so, she has mentioned that she had an eating disorder like early on, like when she was first filming. You can see how very skinny she was. And then that horrific. Like when I think about it, so cringe. That conversation she had with Rachel Raquel, where she's talking about how insecure she is about her body. She's telling her husband or her husband, her boyfriend's mistress, like, oh, I just don't feel sexy. I don't really like how I look. And then his comment about her wearing a t-shirt, like while they have sex, and like,
We're a
and then
t-shirt while we fucking have sex. Like that's
right.
sexy.
And then you see her on Love Island, and it's like, holy shit. Oh my God. Do you think Tom is watching and going, oh, what did I do?
No, because I don't think Tom has the attention span to watch. Like by the way, there was even a scene in that show where he's like, I don't fucking watch a show that's 50 thick that like episode, which is like Love Island. They had a scene talking about Love Island seasons ago. So I think he sees clips. But also what's so great about it is that I know you don't get the sense that Ariana is doing this for revenge from Tom. You just get the sense of like, this is what she's doing. And it's like, that's what's like so cool is that she does not have to play in the petty sandbox like a lot of the rest of the Vanderpumpers do right now, which by the way, is another reason for them to hate Ariana.
I agree. So if you think about Ariana, like throughout the season, she was always very supportive of Tom, very supportive of her friends, but she never tried to like seek attention, which is, I don't know, she like had a perfect balance of interesting enough that we liked seeing her on her screen, but she wasn't. And this is not to say it's a bad thing, but like Lala wants to be main character, Sheena main character, Sandoval, all of them. Schwartz not so much. Schwartz is more on like the Ariana, like the supportive, the friend of type feel. And so to watch her now like become the main character, like, and not just in Vanderpump, but like outside of that, it's awesome. I love it.
That's what I'm saying. Like it just shows like that's what I love about the story is that, if you're prepared and you have like talent, like, that right wave, if you ride that right wave, like all these things come together because it's so hard in the entertainment industry to make any kind of dent anymore. There's so much of everything. So it's so exciting to see somebody that you're like, oh, this person deserves it. And I'm not to say that Ariana or Taylor Swift are not going to fumble and make huge mistakes. Like you would like point out 10 mistakes Taylor Swift makes this past year or being petty in certain ways. But it's so nice to like root for somebody and actually have them show up, succeed, do better than you would even expect of them. And like, that's exciting. By the way, Love Island USA, that guy with the snake tattoo, what's his name?
I'm terrible with names.
Okay. So he has the snake tattoo. What's it? So there's this guy I'm so bad at names too, even though
does the snakes. Like that's like,
he's a snake wrangler. Oh, his name's Robert. Rob.
Robert. Oh,
this guy is such an insane reality show character. He was doing this one girl that he was paired up with dirty, and she like called him out and he started crying and he turned it around on her so quickly. He was like, you didn't even fucking ask how I feel. And then he got so upset, he dove into the pool and he hid from the cameras underneath this water. It was hysterical. This guy is reality TV show gold.
Amazing.
Oh, it is so funny as hell. And then the next day, this girl ends up apologizing to him. Like it worked. And this guy, he just says like, I don't think a lot. Like, I don't know. And I'm like soft spoken. It is so funny, you guys. It is. But I'm saying with Love Island, it's like a virus. Like you gotta like give it a couple of episodes and it sneaks up on you. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I wonder what they're doing. It's not like a bunch of, they're not like, it's not a bunch of Einsteins. Like these are a bunch of sexy people in a house, like making out with each other and hooking up under the guise of finding love. But at the same time, it's a contest you're trying to win. So I highly recommend. And the UK version is even better. But this is my USA is like such a great scene. Hey, I want to pull you for a chat. Okay. Couple more things really quickly. Just really quick thought about the Prince Charles thing. Back to that on the Taylor Swift photo. Yeah. That to me is a perfect celebrity photo that actually, it does something for Prince Charles with all of the hell that they're going through and whatever is going on with his wife. I hope she is okay. She came out last week. She looked beautiful. I saw a lot of posts. People were like, oh, she just had face work done. She's not sick, because she looked actually really refreshed, but that's not what I'm talking about. But by the way, did you kind of see when Prince William was in that photo with Taylor? I wonder if he was like, my wife's sick, right? Like, because he seems like he really loves Taylor Swift. He's like, we could actually be something,
Would you like have tea, like over here, like in England with my wife?
Yeah, exactly. But, okay, so that photo I feel like is really important because it humanizes the prince, right? But also you're able to introduce Travis into your timeline, into your grid photos. Like you finally got that. But at the same time, there's like little elements of that photo that I found interesting. Travis is wearing a USA Olympics hat, which the Olympics are coming up. So you're like, is this undercover marketing for the, like, this is what your conspiracy mind starts to do is you start to look at these little details of like, wow, he's wearing a USA Olympics hat with a Brit. You know, there's a possibility
Right.
of like Joe Alwyn is, you know, a British man, like, haha, I'm with your future king, or, you know, I don't, you know, but like there's so
Like,
many
go
elements to
America.
it. But what a splash to put to hard launch your boyfriend on an Instagram grid. It doesn't get better than being with a future king, right? Like that is such a powerful photo. It's not Tom Cruise, it's the future king.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because first of all, it does humanize them. For a long time, the royal family, what they wanted to be was like separate, like we're apart, we're royals, you guys aren't. And I feel like that was always their PR like strategy for however many years. And like now with like social media, I think they're seeing that they were like kind of coming out of favor. Like people are like, oh, like they are so
They're
detached
done.
from us
Yeah.
in reality. And so like to have that for the younger generations, we're like, oh wait, we actually kind of like them. They're not as
Yeah.
detached as we thought. Like if the king is a Swiftie or future king is a Swiftie, I don't know.
Well,
I
it brings up their stock in a lot of people's eyes, and
Yeah,
it gets the conversation away from when will the monarchy die? Are they just the colonizers that like it comes up? You know, like it shifts the conversation
right,
to this fun kind of pop culture conversation. You see this guy dancing like a goof, and you're like, oh, he dances like me. What a
right.
schlub! Like it's totally makes it a different conversation.
Who was it? So I can't remember exactly, but Taylor Swift years ago, I mean, she was pretty big, but she was fangirling over someone. I think she was on a red carpet and she saw someone and she was like, oh, like she made like shock face, like, oh my God, I'm like next to whoever. And I don't remember who it was, but that was like a moment where we're like, we love seeing these celebrities be fans. We're like, wait,
Yeah,
they're fangirling. That's so cute.
yeah. And that's why we equally get upset when a celebrity is not nice to a fan. When we see
Right.
these, you know, or when you hear that somebody is mean, you're like, oh my God, how dare they? Like, because we take such personal ownership over
Yeah.
their careers.
Yeah.
Finally, today, Justin Timberlake, we are almost about to celebrate a week anniversary of his arrest for DWI. And there are still more details coming out about this arrest, folks. And the most damning for me, the one that I was like, wait, what? Is that Justin Timberlake was stopped and advised not to drive by the cop who ended up arresting him.
Yes.
So this is the part that boggles my mind is that the cop actually warned Justin and Justin still got in the car and drove. And the same cop who was doing a patrol like further down then saw, oh, it's the same dude and then had to arrest him. That's insane. He
Yes.
was given a
No, that's
chance.
insane. Also, shout out to my friend Anthony Sneed if you're listening. He was like, first of all, why the fuck is Justin Timberlake driving himself?
I mean, can you imagine? By the way, the cop didn't even know it was know who Justin Timberlake was or why he's important. So you can't have the argument of I don't want to get into an Uber because they might recognize me, bro. They're not going to recognize you. Like, no, I'm joking, but
Listen,
it
that
is
is
ridiculous.
iconic. It's iconic. Like, this is gonna ruin the world tour. Like,
Yeah,
minor
what tour?
inconvenience.
The world tour.
This is gonna ruin the tour. We just need to say that for everything. Like,
It is
oh, I'm gonna be like
any
2 minutes
minor
late. Oh my God,
inconvenience.
it's gonna ruin the tour.
Well, I mean, listen, I think, by the way, but in some weird kind of pop culture sphere, it also kind of helps. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but think
No,
about it.
it's bad publicity.
We've talked about him more this week than and by the way, it's a lot of
I
negativity
didn't know he
because
was having a world tour. I didn't
I,
know that he was
I
having a
did
tour.
know. I didn't know it was in trouble. Like, but that obviously is the narrative that his tour is in trouble. It's not selling as many seats as everybody would like. Of course, he is also on the heels of decades of people feeling bad, feeling negativity towards him because of Britney Spears and because of Janet Jackson. Even though Janet Jackson has come out and said, "Listen, me and Justin are good. Like
Yeah.
we're fine." And Britney obviously is on Britney's own journey. So it is interesting though, as fans, like we were just talking about it, we take it so personal that there is so much hate out there for this man. If you went online, you know, you would be like, they hate this dude. Like, I think the general public is probably not aware of sometimes the social media goings on, if you can believe it or not, and still are like, oh, I like Justin. But I will say, driving under the influence is one of the stupidest things that you can do. I wanted to, like, even though we're joking about it, one of the dumbest things I don't care where you are, I don't care who you are, that is idiotic. And also what really is frustrating is that the New York Post, it seems like they're planting stories about this arresting officer now. And, and I trying to like discredit the arresting officer. And it's like, Justin should come out and say, like, listen, I did something that was wrong. This is not this officer's fault for doing it. I hate to like fully stand up for the police, but like, it seems like that's what we would want, is that people not out there driving drunk.
Chance, like he gave you a chance to rectify it and you didn't. Like, are you kidding me?
Most people don't get a chance.
Right. Most people don't get a chance. And he didn't know who you were, so he wasn't giving you like, oh, like I love you so much, and like I'm gonna give you a chance. He was just like, bro, don't, like, call someone. I don't know, like, call an Uber. And he has the money, he has the means. I'm sure he has a personal assistant that would fly their ass out there like a drop of a hat. And why didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, this is the story that got put out there by the New York Post, is that he's a hot-headed Gen Z officer. He's a rookie cop who pulled over Justin Timberlake, and honestly, says
iconic behavior. I'm sorry, a rookie cop got Justin Timberlake. I would post that mugshot on my mom and be like, I did that.
I'd say Timberlake was pulled over by rookie cop Michael Arkinson, whose name was mentioned on the singer's charge sheet as well. And it said he has already earned the reputation of a strict cop. Uh-oh. It's a Taylor fan coming at you. It said this arresting officer has a reputation of a strict cop in the area. The residents of the Hamptons have also nicknamed the cop the Sag Harbor Nazi and little redheaded dipshit because of his strict enforcement of law and order. So they have this negative thing that they put out there. But also, if you are in a cushy, nice community like Sag Harbor in the Hamptons, wouldn't you want somebody that is actually like, that's what cracks me up. We're now going to call this guy a redhead pig and a Nazi because he's doing his job. Like, this is the wrong angle to go, Justin Timberlake's manager.
You won't let us be drunk on the golf course.
I know, it's like, what are we standing up for? Like, I mean, there's so many stories out there, like very sympathetic. A lot of, celebrities coming to Justin Timberlake's defense, but he's already back. He performed in Chicago this weekend and he said the audience, like, listen, I did something wrong. You guys are here for me. I'm now here tonight. So let's move on. But I don't know, like at the end of the day, he did something wrong. Like, and I will say there are obviously bigger news stories out there, but when you have these little details, I'm like, you're not going to win this in the press. Like, you're just not going to win this by, he's like some hot-headed officer that fucking warned you and then let you off. And then that's not going to work.
It makes me think of Reese Witherspoon when she got,
oh my God.
I don't know if she ended up I know she got charged with the DUI. I don't know, whatever. But she's like, do you know who I am?
Yeah. She's like, do you know who well, you just made a real bad mistake. Right. I put that audio in the show.
Like, have you ever heard of NSYNC? And he's like,
no. Yeah. Well, that's got to be the saddest part. That New York Post also put in an article that how Justin Timberlake's ego has been bruised, and I'm like, well, that's part of life, man. All of our egos get bruised at some point. Like, sorry, your ego got bruised. Like, there's a lot of hate out there.
Happened a lot sooner.
Well, also the one that people are not talking about is that Travis Scott also got arrested this week in Miami over intoxication. And disorderly intoxication and trespassing over an argument on a boat in Miami. But Travis Scott, we're not talking about that at all.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
here's your point.
Yeah, I mean, he was arrested 3 days ago in Miami, and it was like a yacht fight where Travis was asked to leave a yacht, and then he came back, and so this led to this arrest. And there is a Travis Scott mugshot. And I'm like, wow, this is wild. Nobody's picking up this story or the details behind this story. But Justin Timberlake, he definitely did something wrong, but it is interesting how much coverage this is getting as opposed to Travis Scott.
Yeah, you're right. I don't really know why, but maybe it's just, a yacht fight. I don't know. I want to.
Well, yeah, it's another rich person fight. Another rich person fight. A yacht fight, Sag Harbor Hamptons fight. It's ridiculous. Dana, in terms of your account, you have over 270,000 followers right now. Do you think about where you want to go from here? Like, what is your goal from this point on?
Oh my God, am I in a job interview right now? No,
Yeah.
I honestly I haven't I really have been thinking about this, and I'm kind of everywhere with it because I do want to move up and forward, but I don't really know where that is because part of it is that I want to stay like true to how I am, how I run my page, things like that. Like the whole like I'm not gonna shit post just to like blow up. But I don't know where I fit yet, I think.
Yeah. You don't know where you fit. That's really interesting to hear because I always thought like here's somebody that really does know where they fit in all of this because I feel like I don't know where I'm like okay, there's another silly meme or that's another, like I'm like what am I doing? Where am I going? And it's interesting to hear you say that because I would think that you know exactly where you're going.
I'm not sure. So, one thing that's been very surreal is that I've learned recently that I've been brought up in a lot of like really, really big, important like surgeon conferences. And they're like, oh, yeah, that girl, like this page. Like, and I think mostly good things, I hope. Um, but it's like, wait, all these surgeons know who I am and talk about me. That's kind of amazing. But like, where do I move with that? What do I do? What's the
How do you
next step?
monetize that? How do you
Yeah.
know?
Like, what do I have to offer to these surgeons? I mean, what I do with my consulting work is teach like surgeons one on one, like how to like connect with their patients and how to have a like really good just meetings with their patients, right? Consultations. But like, I don't know, because I kind of like the consumer side, like talking to the potential patients and the people interested in surgery. I don't know if I need to move more in the surgeon direction. I don't know.
See, that's it. Like, there's so many choices out there, and I always try to I've been trying to quiet the noise where I'll like silence my notifications, and I'll I've been trying to quiet things down so I can kind of hear myself a little bit more and where I think I should go. But you're right. There's like so many different options, and you're like, that's where we were talking about like the right person coming in, or like, where's my Scooter Braun? Like, where's your
Right,
Scooter Braun? Where are the people that know like I see exactly who you are and what your career could be? And like,
right,
here's the steps that we need to make because you show that you're hardworking, you have a distinct personality and a take on things. But how do you make sure you don't miss the moment? How do you make
right,
sure that you actually steer that ship? And I think that is one of the, and it's so not reassuring to hear you say that because I want you to know that exactly where you're going, but it's interesting that you
right.
actually do have these concerns.
Well, so going back to like the Scooter Braun thing, like that is one thing that's why you have a talent manager or a talent agent or whatever it is, because they know these things and they see things that you don't see. You're here with your craft or your talent or whatever it is, and then they have the business and management skills sense. Like if they, they just know like, oh, this person would be really great for this or that role or this gig or this opportunity. So that is a talent in and of itself. And again, to talk about Scooter Braun, I feel like a red flag for me about him is that he wanted to be famous. He was always putting himself like, I don't know any other talent agent manager's name. I don't
He
know a
wanted to be a
single
name.
one.
He wanted to
Yeah.
be, he wanted to
And
be a name.
yeah, but and not to say he's not good at his job. Like obviously look at, some of his clientele, but usually like the people who are the ones in power are the ones behind the scenes, right? And those are the people that have an incredible, enormous amount of talent. And so maybe we just need someone to guide us. Like, this is what you do really good at. This is your potential.
Yeah, listen, if you
Let's
if
just
you
believe
are
in
that
that.
if you are that person, reach out to us. My God. But I mean, it brings up also that bigger conversation about people like Diddy. Now, Scooter Braun, of course, didn't, fully go down the Diddy road, but Diddy was another person that put himself out there. He wanted to be a star on top of being this behind the scenes mogul. So it is interesting in this double-edged sword when you put yourself out there for public consumption. It's like that Bill Murray quote that I always bring up on this show is that like he was once asked, what's it like to be rich and famous? And he's like, I'd rather just be rich. Famous,
Right.
can get you a table at a restaurant sometimes, but it's sometimes it can be a lot. Rich is where
Yeah.
it's at. Rich is
Right.
where it's at.
I just want to be a Nepo baby so bad.
I
I don't know.
know. I used to yell at my mom. I used to yell at my mom so much for not being a Chris Jenner type. I'd be like, how dare you? Like, I have to literally sit here and podcast 24 hours a day because you didn't have the foresight to like sell tummy tea at a young age. Like, it was so
Literally, I
offensive.
know, like, how could you do this to me?
Yeah, like look at me having to work for a living. It's ridiculous. But in the meantime, if you do not follow IG Famous by Dana, which I feel like everybody does already, but if you don't, go follow her. She also does. When do you do the tea time every week?
No, I do it about once a month.
And that's where everybody reveals like deep dark secrets in their
Yes.
tea to you, correct?
Yes. Like my friend is a lawyer and she's like, I would literally murder some of my clients if they were like just saying this stuff to you. Like they should not be telling anyone. She's a criminal defense lawyer. And I'm like, well, they tell me.
What's the worst one you've gotten recently?
Honestly, one of the craziest ones was that they found out that her grandmother had murdered her first husband. Like the grandmother had murdered her first husband. And they're like, yeah, this came out after she died. We found like all these journals, like where she talked about it. We knew he went missing, but she told us that, you know, he left her and like moved away to another country. Turns out she murdered him, and we found where he died, like where she buried him.
But you said
like,
the grandma's passed away, right?
Yeah, they found out after the grandmother died, and they inherited the house, and they're like going through all the things. She had him, or she murdered him, and then put him like under concrete. Like she buried him and then had like concrete poured, like made a patio or something.
Oh my God. If she was still alive, I would say, let's get her on Vanderpump Rules season 12. That sounds like, I mean, she sounds like she has a lot of foresight. And then finally, what is the last celebrity interaction that you've had that's blown you away? Because I will say, I've noticed other celebrities like reposting you or following you where I'm like, oh shit. Like, I did a stupid Justin Timberlake meme the other day and it was funny. Like Vivica Fox, like there was all these like celebrities that liked it all of a sudden. And I was like, oh, this is funny. They don't follow me, but they like that post. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Vivica Fox found that funny. Interesting. Have you had any celebrity interactions? Because I know a lot of celebrities follow you. Is there been any that surprised you?
Literally a day or two ago, Ricky Lake followed me.
Hell yeah.
I'm at my brother's house, and like a lot of his friends are younger. And I was like, oh my God, Ricky Lake followed me. And they're like, who is that? And I'm like, oh, the female Maury. And they're like, who's that?
So those your brother's friends are exactly like Justin Timberlake's arresting officer. Like, we don't know who you are, sir. Yeah, no, I know. Literally. It is like, I was really funny.
And they're like, who is that? What was she in? I was like, she had her own talk show. And they're like, okay,
I mean, come on, John Waters movies, talk show. She is I mean, it is funny. I feel like there does need to be people, and I think that's where we come in, is like to protect celebrities' legacies of like, we cannot forget about the Ricky Lakes out there. They deserve a place in permanent pop culture.
Literally, like, I mean, I would say like Maury, Ricky, like that is part of the reason that I like pop culture with tea time. Like they are so messy. Like I don't Judge Judy, they're so messy.
I mean, that's why, yeah, Wendy Williams, all of that. Like, I mean, God, we miss all those things. Well, Dana, this was fantastic as it always. It's so easy with Dana, you guys, and I've missed talking to you. I always say we needed to do this on a more regular basis because I just have the most fun talking to you. So thank you, even with your lip having exploded, whatever whatever is happening to your body, because I know you broke out in hives as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if there's anything that you ever need to promote, please consider us a place that will always be welcoming you with open arms. So you guys, Dana Omari at IG Famous by Dana, go follow.
Thanks, Bye.